The front door wasn't supposed to open on its own, but at exactly 3:09 a.m., it did. Hannah froze on the last stair, barefoot, her breath fogging in the cold draft that swept into the hallway. The alarm hadn't gone off. The locks hadn't clicked. Yet the door was open, and there on the doormat was a photograph, burnt at the edges, the image distorted but unmistakable. It was her, standing in this house, but the photo looked decades old. She didn't scream. She couldn't. Something in her throat locked up. Not fear, not yet. Something colder, a memory. But it wasn't hers. At least, she didn't think it was. She picked up the photo with trembling hands, noticing how the ink had smeared, like someone had wept over it, or bled on it. Behind her the floor creaked, not from the door, from upstairs, where no one was, where no one should be. She turned slowly, holding the photo like a shield. Each step she took back toward the staircase felt like sinking into black water. The photo crumpled in her fist, another creak, louder, and then a whisper, clear, male, deep. "Why did you come back?" 12 hours earlier, Hannah and her husband Sam had moved into their supposed forever home. Fresh paint, new floors, big kitchen, cheap deal. Too cheap, actually. But it was a quiet town. Who was she to question luck? They needed a reset. After everything they'd been through, the miscarriage, Sam's job loss, the year of silence between them, this move was a last hope, not just for their marriage, but for sanity, for healing. And maybe that's why she didn't ask too many questions when the neighbor across the street avoided eye contact, or when the mover whispered something in Spanish she didn't understand, except for the word maldición, curse. As the day unfolded, the house felt off. Light switches didn't respond the first time. Her phone kept losing signal, but only in the upstairs bedroom. The basement door refused to stay shut, and the dog, Scout, wouldn't stop growling at the old mirror in the hallway, a mirror the previous owners had left behind, nailed to the wall like it had to stay. And then that night, the door, the photo, and that voice. The next morning, Sam was gone, not in the kitchen, not in the bedroom, not in the car. His phone was on the porch, screen cracked, smeared with what looked like blood. Only one message was visible on the screen before it locked again. Don't let her remember. The porch was silent, cold, too cold for late May. Hannah stood barefoot, gripping Sam's phone like a lifeline. Her own heart was pounding so loudly in her ears it nearly drowned out the wind. The message blinked at her one last time before the screen went black. Don't let her remember. She tried unlocking the phone again. No luck. Wrong face, wrong fingerprint. It was like the device knew she wasn't supposed to see that message. Sam was still gone. His truck was parked on the street. His wallet sat on the hallway table, but no keys, no coat, and no Sam. Not a single sound from upstairs or down, as if the house had swallowed him whole. Scout whimpered from the back door, tail low, hackles raised. He hadn't barked, hadn't growled, just whimpered, like he knew something Hannah didn't. "Sam?" she called, voice catching. "Nothing. Sam, this isn't funny." Still nothing. She checked every room, the attic, the closets, even the crawl space behind the kitchen. Nothing. The only place left was the basement, the one with the door that wouldn't stay closed, the one neither of them had dared explore yesterday. She hesitated at the top step, hand resting on the chipped old doorknob. The basement door was open. Scout backed away and started whining. The staircase was steeper than she remembered. Each wooden step creaked louder than the last. The air grew colder the further she went, until her breath became visible. Halfway down, the light flickered. She froze. It wasn't the bulb overhead. It was below. A faint glow, pulsing like candlelight. But it didn't dance. It throbbed like something alive. She reached the bottom and turned the corner. The basement was larger than it should have been. Much larger. The walls were stone, not drywall, ancient like a root cellar. But that wasn't what made her legs weaken. In the center of the floor stood the same hallway mirror, the one from upstairs, only now it was down here, nailed into a wooden frame. No dust, no cracks, and in the reflection she saw herself. But not as she was now. She was younger, pregnant, smiling, next to Sam. She staggered backward, slamming into the wall. The reflection didn't change. A sound whispered behind her ear, wet and rasping. "He took it from you?" She spun around. Nothing. But when she looked back, the mirror was no longer showing her. It was showing Sam, bound to a chair, gagged, head slumped. Behind him, a shadow moved. A woman. Face blurred like smeared. Charcoal. But those eyes. She knew those eyes. Her mouth formed a name she couldn't say aloud. Her knees buckled. She dropped to the floor. She had seen this before. Not in this house. In a dream. A dream she'd had for years. When Hannah came to, she was lying on the basement floor, Scout licking her hand. The mirror was gone. Vanished. Just bare stone wall where it had been, and yet her hands were burned, slightly, like she'd held something too hot or something had branded her. She rushed upstairs, still no Sam. She checked her phone. No signal, not even Wi-Fi. Then, a knock. She jumped. It came from the front door. She hesitated, looked through the peephole. An old woman stood there, tiny, wrapped in a faded shawl. When Hannah opened the door, the woman didn't smile. "You shouldn't be here alone," she said. Her voice was dry, cracked like aged paper. "Has it started showing you yet?" Hannah blinked. "What?" "The mirror. It remembers what you forget. That's why they left it. That's why it comes back." Hannah stared. "Do I know you?" The woman looked up. Her eyes were a pale gray, almost clouded. "Not yet," she said, "but you will." And with that, she handed Hannah a folded note. "I lost someone too," she whispered, "in this house, in that mirror." Then she turned and left. No car, no bike, just walked barefoot down the road and vanished into the trees. Hannah unfolded the note with trembling fingers. Inside was a photo, another old one, but this time, and it wasn't just her, it was a baby, a newborn, wrapped in blue. She was holding him. Sam was beside her. The background, unmistakably the living room of this house. Only one problem. She never had that baby. She lost it at 6 months. There was a death certificate. A funeral wasn't there. She ran to the attic, dug through boxes they hadn't unpacked, looked for the hospital folder. She found it, the sonogram, the medical report, but no death certificate, no discharge papers, no proof of the funeral, just a single sheet of paper she didn't remember seeing before. Infant transferred, subject A, sealed under psychiatric order, name withdrawn, status confidential. What did that mean? Transferred where? Why psychiatric? And who withdrew his name? She sat down hard on the attic floor. Her entire chest hurt. Scout sat next to her and whined softly. Then the lights flickered. Downstairs a door slammed, and she heard Sam's voice. "Hannah!" She jumped to her feet and sprinted down the stairs. He was there in the kitchen, disoriented, pale, shirt torn, blood on his hands. She rushed to him. "Where were you? What happened?" But Sam didn't answer. He looked at her like she was a stranger. Then he whispered, "You saw her, didn't you?" Hannah stepped back. "Who?" "The woman in the mirror." He dropped into a chair, shaking. "I didn't want you to remember," he said quietly. "Not again." "Remember what?" He looked up, eyes filled with tears. "You didn't lose the baby, Hannah. You gave him away. You just don't remember it. You gave him away, Hannah. You just don't remember it." Those words echoed in her ears like a scream underwater. Hannah stood frozen, every nerve in her body numb. Sam sat across the kitchen table, pale and shaking like he'd just returned from the dead. "No," she said softly. "That's not true." "It is," Sam whispered. "And you were never supposed to remember." The air in the room thickened, pressing against her chest. The silence between them was unbearable, but not unfamiliar. It had lived in their marriage for years. She took a step back. "I lost the baby," she insisted, "at 6 months. There was a funeral. I saw his casket. I cried over his grave." Sam closed his eyes. "That wasn't his grave," he said. "It was a closed casket, empty." The words hit like a slap. Hannah couldn't breathe. She stumbled into the hallway, her vision spinning. "No," she whispered. "No, that can't be. You said we had to let him go, that he died. You said it." "I lied," Sam said, standing now. "I lied because you couldn't handle what really happened. You were breaking Hannah. After what happened in the hospital, after what she said, you weren't safe." She turned on him, furious and trembling. "Who is she? Who is the woman in the mirror?" Sam didn't answer immediately. His eyes darted to the mirror in the hallway. It had returned, hanging exactly where it had been before, as if it had never moved. And in the glass, for just a second, a flash of that woman again. Blurry face, bleeding eyes. Hannah turned away. "What aren't you telling me?" Sam walked to the mirror. His voice dropped to a whisper. "She used to be your therapist." "What?" "After the pregnancy, when you started forgetting things, seeing things, they referred you to a woman who specialized in traumatic memory suppression. She did something to you, some kind of experimental therapy. That mirror was part of it." He turned to face her, "But it got out of control. You started remembering things that didn't happen, saying the baby wasn't yours, that you'd been part of some kind of cult, that they'd planted the pregnancy inside you." Hannah stared at him. "I don't remember any of this. I know, that was the point." Scout barked sharply, interrupting them. Both turned. The mirror's surface began to ripple like a disturbed lake, and then a hand pressed flat against the inside of the glass. Small, child-sized. Hannah's knees gave out. She collapsed to the floor. A scream caught in her throat. Sam pulled her back, shielding her from the mirror. "Don't look. She's trying to trigger another break." "She?" Hannah gasped. "You mean the therapist?" "She died, Hannah," Sam said darkly. 6 months after she started treating you, she drove off a bridge. Then how is she... She didn't die, right?" He cut in. "Not really. That mirror, it was used in the therapy. Some kind of old Eastern ritual. A method of trapping traumatic memory in objects. But something went wrong." He looked straight at her. "She didn't just trap your trauma. She got trapped with it." Suddenly the mirror cracked down the center and a voice echoed through the hall. "He still remembers you." The lights snapped off. The house plunged into darkness. Scout howled. And then laughter, childlike. From upstairs, Hannah scrambled to her feet, heart racing. "Was that..." Sam nodded. "I think the mirror's opening all the doors now. Not just memories, places." They ran upstairs. The hallway felt longer. Wrong. Like the dimensions of the house had shifted. The bedroom door creaked open by itself. Inside, a crib, a new one, white, freshly painted, and in it, a baby, sleeping. "No," Hannah whispered. Sam stepped forward cautiously. As they neared, the baby opened its eyes, bright blue. Her eyes, she reached for him. Sam stopped her. "Wait." But it was too late. She touched the baby's cheek, and suddenly the room melted away in a rush of cold wind and screaming. Flashback. 3 years ago. Hannah sits in a hospital room, her belly round, her eyes empty. Across from her, a woman in black with a calm voice. "You must understand the child is special. It must be hidden, protected, or it will die." Sam is there too, numb, watching, silent. Hannah sobs. "I don't want to forget him." The woman takes her hand. "If you don't forget him, you'll go mad and he'll never be safe." She pulls out a small mirror. "This will help." Back to present, Hannah collapsed on the nursery floor. The baby was gone. Just. A blanket now, empty. Sam knelt beside her. She's showing you everything now. There's no stopping it. I gave him away, Hannah whispered. I gave away our child. No, Sam said, you saved him. Suddenly a siren echoed outside. Blue lights flashed through the curtains. Someone was banging on the door. Police, open up! Sam ran downstairs, but Hannah didn't follow. She was frozen. The mirror stood in the hallway again, glowing, humming. A voice whispered from it. You gave him to them, and now they're here. The door burst open. 2 officers entered, but they didn't look right. Their eyes, pitch black, skin, grayish. One of them pointed at Sam. You are in violation of Order 47-3. The child was not to be remembered. Sam backed up. She knows now, it's done. You will be extracted. What about her? She's next. Hannah screamed as the mirror split wide open. A black hallway stretched inside, and from the darkness, the therapist stepped. Out, still blurry, still bleeding behind her, dozens of mirrors lined the walls, and in each one, a version of Hannah, crying, screaming, pregnant, bleeding, silent, stuck. The therapist extended her hand. Come with me. You want to know where he is? Then you must remember everything. Hannah turned to Sam. He shook his head. It's a trap. Once you go in, you may not come back. But our son, he said nothing. She stepped forward. Scout barked desperately. Then she turned back to Sam, tears streaking her face. I have to try. As she took the therapist's hand, the mirror swallowed her. The light exploded and everything went black. The first thing Hannah noticed was the sound. It wasn't silence, not exactly. It was the hum of nothingness, like the house had exhaled and decided not to breathe in again. The mirror closed behind her. Gone was the hallway. Sam, Scout, everything. She stood in a corridor lined with mirrors from floor to ceiling. Some reflected her, others didn't. Some showed rooms she'd never seen. Others showed moments she never wanted to relive. The therapist stood beside her, face still a blur, voice calm as glass. You're not dead, she said. You're inside your own memory. I don't remember this place because you asked to forget it. They walked in silence. The hallway shifted with each step. The temperature dropped. Hannah could see her breath again. A mirror flickered. To her left, inside it herself, curled up in a hospital bed, screaming. Blood on her gown. Sam sitting in the corner, staring straight ahead, tears in his eyes. She turned away. What is this place? The woman answered without turning. Every room in this hall holds a memory you buried. Some painful, some dangerous, some true. And my son? Hannah asked, heart trembling. The therapist finally looked at her. Her blurred face sharpened slightly. Not fully visible, but more human. You can't find him until you find yourself. They stopped in front of a thick iron door, the kind that didn't belong in a home, the kind that belonged in asylums or secret labs. Above it, scratched into the rusted metal, the room where she forgot. The woman placed a hand on the lock. If you enter, you must remember everything, no turning back. I'm not afraid, Hannah lied. The door creaked open. The room was cold and white. A single hospital bed, an IV pole, a mirror on the far wall. The mirror in the bed, Hannah, pale, hollow-eyed, whispering to herself. A man in a white coat stood nearby, writing. Has begun to reject the implanted memories. Subject continues to claim the child was never hers. Possible identity fracture. Recommendation, further suppression. Memory lock to be reinforced. Hannah's knees gave out. This isn't real, she whispered, but the woman nodded. This is the moment you stopped being you. The Hannah in the bed looked up suddenly and stared right at her. You let them take him, she said. No, I was trying to protect. You let them erase me. Her voice shook the walls. Mirrors shattered around the room. The floor cracked beneath them. The therapist reached out, grabbed Hannah's hand. "We have to go," she said urgently. "Now, you're not ready." But Hannah yanked free. "I am." She walked to the mirror, the real one, and as she stared into it, something clicked. Flashback: a dark hospital room. A red file, a signature. She's crying. Sam is crying too. A doctor speaks gently. He won't survive without relocation. His identity must be erased. We can make you forget, for your own safety. Another woman enters, the therapist, and in Hannah's arms, the baby, warm, alive, real. She kisses his head and whispers, "Don't forget me." Back to present, the therapist was watching her. "You didn't give him away because you were weak," she said softly. "You gave him away because you were strong." The walls of the room bent inward. Shattered glass floated in the air. The world was collapsing. "Is he alive?" Hannah asked. The therapist nodded. "But you have to leave now, or you'll be trapped in this memory forever." "Where is he?" "I can't tell you that. But now that you remember, the way forward is yours." Hannah closed her eyes. When she opened them again, she was back. She woke in the living room, gasping. Scout barked once, rushed to her. Sam was there too, pale, still crying. "You came back," he whispered. "I remembered everything," she said. "They erased me. They erased him." He nodded. "I tried to tell you." She stepped forward, trembling. "Where is our son?" Sam took a long, shaking breath. "I didn't tell you the full truth." Hannah tensed. He walked over to the fireplace, reached behind a loose brick, pulled out a metal box. Inside, a photo, a letter, a small blue bracelet with the name Caleb on it. "I found him last year," Sam whispered, "but I didn't. Bring him back." "Why?" "Because he doesn't remember us. He thinks his name is Noah. He thinks another couple are his parents. And he's happy." Hannah's eyes welled with tears. "You let me think he was dead while you knew he was alive. I was trying to protect you." She slapped him. The sound echoed. Then she collapsed into his arms, both sobbing for everything they lost and everything they gave up. They sat there for a long time. No more ghosts, no more mirror, just grief and clarity. "I want to see him," she whispered. Sam nodded. "Then we'll find a way. Together." Later that night, as they packed their things to leave the house behind forever, the mirror remained. But this time it showed something new. A child playing in a field, laughing, and a mother watching from a distance, not yet ready to hold him, but ready to remember. The train rolled into Vermont just past 2 a.m. Outside, the snow painted everything white, the kind of white that made you feel erased. Sam and Hannah sat across from each other in silence. Between them, a worn photo of a boy named Caleb, now called Noah, 5 years old, blue eyes, happy, and not a single trace of her in his face anymore. "He's in a foster placement now," Sam murmured, breaking the silence. The couple was temporary, protective custody. Hannah stared out the window. Her breath fogged the glass. "Do you think he'll remember me?" Sam didn't answer. They arrived at a small, sterile building, a government facility hidden behind the name Norhill Child Wellness Center. The woman at the front desk gave them a polite smile, but her eyes flicked toward the file too quickly. "Caleb's been a curious case," she said. "Most memory-adjusted children experience some lingering trauma, but your son—" "Our son," Hannah corrected sharp. The woman hesitated. "Your son hasn't asked about you. Not once. He speaks of a dream mother sometimes, but never by name." They waited in a plain room with plastic chairs. Then the door opened. A small boy stepped in. Freckles, blue hoodie, and a cautious, polite stare. Hannah stood. He tilted his head. "Hi," he said. She didn't rush, didn't cry. She knelt and smiled gently. "Hi, my name is Hannah." He nodded. I'm Noah. Sam swallowed, looked away. For 20 minutes they colored together, talked, played with wooden blocks. He was calm, sweet, normal. Hannah asked, "Do you remember anything about a house with mirrors?" Noah's crayon froze. He looked up slowly. "I used to dream about a lady in the glass. She told me I used to have another name." "What name?" He shrugged. "She never said." Later, as they left, Hannah clutched Sam's arm. "He knows, Sam. Some part of him knows." Sam nodded. "But do we wake that part up or let it stay asleep?" That night, they didn't sleep. 4:02 a.m. Sam stood in the hotel bathroom, staring at himself. The mirror began to ripple. He backed away in the reflection, the therapist still blurry. "Still bleeding," she whispered. "You broke the seal. That world was locked for a reason." Sam gritted his teeth. "You said she had to remember." "Yes, but now the boy is remembering too. And he was the true vessel." The mirror shattered. Sam collapsed to the floor, shaking. Hannah rushed in. "What happened?" Sam looked up, eyes bloodshot. "We have to get him out of that facility." The next morning they returned to Norhill, but it was closed. The building abandoned, boarded up, police tape fluttering in the wind, a handwritten sign on the door. "Condemned. Structural collapse. No survivors." Hannah screamed. "No, no!" Sam grabbed her. "It's a lie. They moved him. They're hiding him again." Hannah spun, desperate. "Why?" He didn't answer, but he knew, because the boy was never supposed to remember. They checked news reports. Nothing. No coverage, no fire, no missing children. Norhill had vanished like it never existed. But late that night, in their hotel room, Hannah's phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message, a photo of Caleb, standing in front of a mirror, eyes empty, mouth sewn shut. Behind him, the therapist, and scrawled on the glass in red, "Do not wake him." Hannah dropped the phone. "What does it mean?" Sam whispered. "We didn't just bury trauma, Hannah. We buried something darker, something inside him." That night, she dreamed of a room with no doors, just mirrors, and in each one, her son, screaming silently, trying to wake up. It was raining in Vermont again, but this time it felt different, as if the sky knew what Hannah was about to do. They had nothing left, not even the memory of their son in their arms. Only a picture, a lie, and a house that had almost erased them both. But Hannah had made up her mind. She would go back to the house, alone. 17. As she stood in front of the mirror, the original one, its surface shimmered slightly like breath. Under ice, Sam hadn't come with her. He couldn't. The last message had said, "If you want to save him, only the one who gave him away can bring him back." So she entered alone, and this time, the mirror didn't resist. Inside the mirror world, the corridor was longer now, darker, the walls breathing. Mirrors lined both sides, but now they whispered soft, taunting voices. "You're too late. He belongs to her now." "You never deserved him." Hannah ignored them. She walked until she found the room with no name. Inside, her son, Caleb, sitting cross-legged, silent. And in the corner, the therapist, or what remained of her. Her face was now glass, her eyes black, her voice, "You were warned." "You're not real," Hannah said. The woman laughed. "I was born the moment you signed him away. I am the price of forgetting." "What do you want?" The creature smiled, glass cracking around her lips. "I want him to stay. Here. With me. With what's left of all the other children who were erased." The mirrors around the room flickered, and behind each one, Hannah saw children. Hundreds of them, silent, lost, forgotten. "You took my son," Hannah said, stepping forward. "No," the creature whispered. "You gave him to me." Hannah dropped to her knees beside Caleb. His mouth was still sewn shut, but tears ran down his face. "I'm here," she whispered. "I remember now, all of it. I never stopped loving you." His hands trembled, the stitches twitched. "I didn't protect you before, but I will now." The creature laughed again, but this time it was nervous. You can't take him, not without a trade. What kind of trade? His soul for yours. Hannah didn't flinch. Fine, take me. The air grew still. You offer yourself willingly? Yes. Oh, long silence. Then the woman reached out, touched Hannah's forehead. It burned like ice. You'll stay here with the forgotten. I don't care. A wind blew through the mirror world. The room shook. Caleb gasped. The stitches tore open. Mama, he whispered. She sobbed, holding him tight. I'm here. I'm right here. And then a hand yanked Caleb away. The creature's face cracked fully open, revealing hundreds of mirrored shards underneath. Screaming, you said yes. He stays. No, Hannah said. I said take me. She lunged forward into the creature, and the mirrors exploded. Light, pain, a scream that shook the world, then silence. When Caleb opened his eyes, he was lying on the floor of the real house. In Sam's arms, breathing, alive. Mama, he asked. Sam was crying. She's gone, buddy. She saved you. Weeks passed, then months. Caleb began to speak again, draw again, smile again. Sometimes he asked about the woman in the mirror. Sam would only say, she was brave. She loved you more than anything. 1 year later, Caleb turned 6. At his party, he smiled, laughed, ran through the yard, and for a moment, just a moment, Sam thought he saw her. Standing in the mirror on the wall of the house they now called home, not trapped, not broken, just watching. Proud. Some mirrors reflect what we see, others reflect what we've lost. But the rarest kind show us what we're willing to sacrifice for love. The end.